Hey there, RC enthusiasts, it's David from RC, and today I've got my final update on the MN Model D90 rock crawler. Now this truck was a fun truck to build. The quality of the build was a lot better than the WPLs, I can confidently say that. You know, everything fit together a lot nicer, the screws were a lot nicer. But that's about it where I'm gonna leave off of that, as this model is bigger than this WPL model, so I really don't like directly comparing it to them, even though some of the parts are interchangeable and I have done mods and swap bodies and frames, chassis and stuff. They are swappable and stuff, but it is a bigger scale rig. Not much, but big enough to make a difference in crawling, and it'll definitely out-crawl those just because it's higher off the ground, bigger tires, wider, so it can handle a little bit more than the WPLs can. Sure. These trucks in the background right here. Now if you guys just saw my latest FPV video on this one, sorry about that. I didn't realize that camera that's in there was that horrible. I'd never used it before. It was from an FPV ready to run that I had. So it's up there, yeah. That one right there. And I never ever flew with that on there, so I've always just had it laying around and decided let's try it on FPV on a little 6x6, and it was pretty fun, but unfortunately the quality wasn't all great, but I decided to share it with you guys anyway, so hopefully you can stand watching it. If not, I don't mind. I just put everything I do out there just so people know what I go through when I do some of my stuff and where I go to film some of the things I film. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys like tagging along on my adventures. Well, anyway, let's get back to this thing. In stock form, at first I did not have any experience with it, because as soon as I did purchase it, I did put WPL metal ring and pinions in here. I do have the metal drive shafts, and I do have a 2-speed. Now all of those went in this truck as soon as I put it together, so I have no experience, or I didn't have any experience with the drivetrain of this truck stock. But I ended up using that drivetrain in this gray poncho style Hilux I have right here, and now that I have used it, I can report that it's the same. It's the same as the WPL, the older style gearbox that they had. So yeah, nothing special there, just the same stuff underneath really. This one just has longer axles, so all I had to do was grind down all the plastic parts and then slide all the metal WPL parts on that metal axle to make that work on there. But no need to worry. Now they actually make the kit for this specifically, so you don't have to do any of the mods I did anymore. They do. They make all that, so you can just purchase that as a kit. And yeah, there are a lot of people out there that'll tell you not to waste money on these. They just mod them to, you know, they change every part out and specifically mod them. And I understand not everyone is into the whole, you know, I'm gonna make my own parts stuff, and some people just unfortunately have to purchase parts. Well, with my experience, because that's pretty much what I've been doing, you know, I'm just starting to get into the whole modifying things and finding different ways to do things myself to save some money here and there. The metal parts that they sell for these, at least the WPL ones that I purchased, I did purchase the copper looking ones, which are, they tell me it's copper, but everyone says it's brass. I don't know what it is exactly, I just know it looks like brass and copper, so Banggood told me it was copper. People online say it's brass, so whatever the gold colored one is, I have those in 2 of my trucks, and I have the all steel black gear ones, which are the steel gears, inside this one, and I'm happy to report similar experience with those. They fit perfect, the mesh is good, the gears look brand new still, and this right now, I forgot to mention, this WPL, I mean, sorry about that, this MN model D90 does have a brushless system in it. It's got Accelerin 4500 kV brushless, and I run it on a 2S LiPo, anywhere from a 2200 all the way down to an 800 when I'm just crawling around in first gear. I get pretty decent run times. And I'm happy to say with the metal upgrades, which cost me about $32, and the $18 2-speed WPL transmission, just those modifications and all those metal ring and pinion gears in here and bearings came with these drive shafts for that $32. So if you add that and the $18 plus shipping for this 2-speed, or if you find the free shipping ones like I do, and you end up with this pretty reliable rig. Now I did dial down my endpoints to my controller to 60%, so I'm not really pushing the brushless motor as hard as it can go, but for what I do with this rig, just kind of overlanding around and going through some trails and stuff, I find that to be a good setup. So 60% on a 45 kV 2-cell setup, tons of torque for climbing, enough speed to get out of stuff, not enough speed really to continually break things on your truck. Which I can also report that I have never really broken anything on this ever since I built it. Like I said, I did build it with all these already on it, the metal and everything, and the 2-speed. No plastic parts on this have broken, so the chassis, the frame, servo that came with it in the kit are all still functional. I did waterproof them by plasti dipping them, but like I said, nothing has broken major on this thing really. The only issue that I do have with this MN90, especially after going brushless, was the wheels. And I don't know what plastic they make these wheels out of, but they definitely cannot handle brushless. Every single one of them broke off, like right where the hub goes, where the wheel goes in and the hub right here, and the back side of this, they split open and the plastic just cracks over there, and now you have no drive on this wheel, and sometimes they just even just fall off completely. So that is the one thing that I find is weak. Maybe if you can buy some metal wheels for this or better plastic wheels, that would change that issue. But other than that, what I did to fix that issue for me, I don't know if I can see it here in the camera. Let's see if I can zoom in there. Oh, you really can't tell. I don't know if you can tell, there's some white stuff inside that wheel right there, just right in there. That's baking soda and super glue. So what I ended up doing was, since I have the metal upgrade on this truck, it comes with a little metal out drives, little metal hexes that stick out in the end here that you screw in with a grub screw on the side to keep on the axle. I just used that, pretty much shoved it into the wheel like where it normally should go, with a bunch of super glue in it and everything. I super glued it on and baking soda'd it and everything, so now that hub is stuck to that wheel. And then I just screwed it all back in through the grub screw back here, and then put the case, put this, split this case, and then put the grub screw back in where this wheel needs to go, and then put the case back together. And now that wheel is permanently there unless the glue gives way or the grub screw gives way or something. But with that mod, I'm happy to report it's been pretty reliable as well. I haven't had any more wheels spinning loose on me or anything. They are stuck on there. Not a major issue, you can just take them off if they do end up breaking off. But yeah, so that's how it's working right now. This is how it's gonna probably stay now. Here you go. Let me run this sucker for you real quick so you can see. It is a brushless, sensorless motor, so there is some cogging. Not too extreme though, especially when you're going uphill and actually going through obstacles. I don't know how it does it, but the motor's sensor, it puts the power down when you need it. So yeah, I put myself a grade right here. And when you start climbing things, the motor just goes for it. It doesn't care. I've crawled around for 40 minutes on this the other day out when I was off-roading, and unfortunately, having so much fun, I forgot to film this truck. I filmed the other stuff, but I filmed those guys and completely forgot this guy because I just put a battery in it and started wailing around until I killed it. So yeah, it's got some decent speed to it. It is brushless, but remember, I did set the endpoint to 60%, so it is a lot faster than this, and it can go a lot faster, but since it is four-wheel drive and fully locked, it's got no differentials in there, it's just straight locked axles. There is a lot of traction roll, so if you turn slightly at all at speed, this thing will traction roll itself, and you know, your pretty little body will get all scratched up and stuff. So I don't recommend really going any faster than I do with this. It's a lot faster than stock, but I just really wanted to put a brushless system in here because I had it laying around for a long time and I figured I should use it for something. So now it looks like it's gonna live in this truck. It's been pretty good. This truck still does need some mods, like some steering mods and stuff. Everything's still the stock stuff from there. The servos, plenty adequate. And yeah, so if you've never seen any of these before and this is your first time bumping into one of these in my videos, subscribe. And I recommend one of these. You know, if you've never built one, they do sell this in RTR or kit form. If you've never built one of these before, or you've never even built an RC before or anything, I recommend this. It's not bad. 50 bucks will get you started pretty well. Let's say maybe $60 will get you all your whole truck built at least. You're still gonna need a receiver and controller, but let's say $60 you'll probably get this thing built. Or I can break it down probably somewhere here. I'll probably put it down here to break down to the cost of this build, and I can recommend buying all those parts right away when you purchase this kit and just installing those straight out. Never have to worry about this thing breaking again. And like I said, I'm using brushless. You're probably gonna stick to a brushed, which I recommend. But if I can do brushless and not break this truck the way I drive it now, and I do jumps with this thing and stuff, so I see you crawling around with this thing would be pretty reliable. So that's my recommendation. You're gonna go crawling around with this thing, don't even mess with it in its stock form, RTR, or even the kit version. You know, go ahead and put the 2-speed in here, put the metal gears on it, call it a day. You know, put marine grease on everything, and you're good to go. So yeah, that's pretty much my final thoughts on the MN Model D90 rock crawler. It's a very nice model, looks good, color's great. I like this color a lot. And yeah, go out there and have some fun. You guys have a great day and go run that RC.